We're getting closer to the much-awaited Game of Thrones prequel, and fans can hardly wait. And the good news is that we've got positive reviews coming in. George R.R. Martin watched the rough cut of the first season before anyone else. And of course he did. And the creator of this world had some things to say. In today's video, we're talking about his comments on House of the Dragon. Let's get started. First up, George R.R. Martin says House of the Dragon improves one major character. Do you know that George R.R. has his own blog that he regularly updates? Or not a blog, because that's what it's called. So that's probably the most credible news source for any Game of Thrones related news and insider info. Seriously, it's a hidden treasure. Recently on his blog, George wrote about seeing the first rough cuts of House of the Dragon and told his readers about what he enjoyed the most. He highlighted Paddy Considine's performance as King Viserys and said that the actor brings a tragic majesty to the character in a way that even his book never quite captured. Now that's high praise, isn't it? He said kudos to Paddy, showrunner Ryan Condell and the rest of his team, and Miguel Sapochnik and all the other directors. He posted that he was vastly impressed by the character and he couldn't wait for us to watch it as well. We can't wait either, George. Then he talked about the changes from his book Fire and Blood. And we have to say that's great to hear after Game of Thrones gave us the most underwhelming ending of all time. Seriously, has there ever been a bigger disappointment than what Season 8 of the biggest show of all time gave us? We still haven't recovered. Now, they've got some making up to do. But if George R.R. Martin says that the new prequel is great, well, it's on good authority that it's great. He admitted that there were a few changes from his book Fire and Blood, but in the best way possible. He said that Ryan and his writers made some very good choices. He said that they had made some improvements to his story. He gave the examples of Shae in the Game of Thrones, played by Sibel Kekili, and said that the show's version was much more nuanced, richer, and deeper than his books. He assured his readers that the acting, directing, and writing were all first-rate. He said that there were a lot of great performances on the show, and while we may not have heard of some of the actors, we'll come to love them as we did with Game of Thrones. He guaranteed that the story was still his, despite the changes, and those only made it better. And then he said he's allowed to say it because he literally created this world. But hey George, where's Winds of Winter? Now don't get us wrong, we're beyond excited for House of Dragon, but we still want to know more about the ending of the parent show, the way it was intended, not the HBO mess. And thank goodness, George R.R. Martin provides regular updates on his blog. Also, you guys seriously need to check it out. It's a goldmine. Earlier this month, he reassured fans that he was working on it and he hadn't forgotten all about it. He told readers that he finished a clutch of Cersei chapters that were giving him fits. Then he was wrestling with Brienne and Jaime. And just a couple of weeks ago, the author said he was back with Tyrion. He admitted the work wasn't as fast as fans would like. Duh, we would have had it years and years ago, but we're just glad it's still coming. For now, what can we expect from House of the Dragon? Probably many, many dragons. We know that House of the Dragon is set almost 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. It's the history of House Targaryen, and it will lead up to the Targaryen Civil War, commonly known as Dance of the Dragon. Hey, they should have called the show that. George R.R. Martin said he really believes the new show can reach a wide audience the same way Game of Thrones did. Every Monday it came out, it was an event. It was like Netflix Party, but the whole world was in on it. It reached unprecedented heights, and if the new show manages to live up to that, well, it's a win for the creators and fans alike. Although the parent show ended in the worst possible way, the world of Westeros is rich enough to have many more stories, and House of Dragon is just the start. So, what more is coming, and what's George R.R. Martin saying about it? It's been confirmed that HBO has a Jon Snow sequel in the works. And yes, with Kit Harington. How else? Emilia Clarke recently in an interview mentioned that the show was actually Kit's idea. George Martin told his readers that the working title for the show was Snow. He said that Kit brought the idea to them, and although he couldn't say who the writers and showrunners were, it was Kit's team and they were all terrific. Honestly, we couldn't ask for better news. Jon Snow deserves a better ending, and who better to lead that story than Kit Harington himself? Guess he does know some things after all. And that's all about George R.R. Martin's recent comment on the House of the Dragon. Now let's talk about some other related news. Firstly, will Emilia Clarke ever play Mother of Dragons again? With the recent news about the Jon Snow spin-off and House of the Dragon coming out in a couple of months, fans were naturally wondering if Emilia Clarke would ever return to the world of Westeros. And we regret to inform you that she won't. It turns out that Daenerys Targaryen is completely in the past for the 35-year-old actress. series. In a recent interview, she said that she was done. Of course, Dany literally died in the first season of the show, so a spin-off would be very hard to pull off anyway. But hey, we could have dreamt. Emilia talked about the iconic role and how it's pretty much all people associate her with. She said she was profoundly aware that many people coming to watch her in Anton Chekhov's The Seagull in London's West End were only going to be there because of Game of Thrones. She warned people that she wasn't a dragon at any point during the show, but she said she hopes that people will come and watch the play they might not have seen otherwise and enjoy it. We don't know about you guys, but we can't wait to watch her on stage. Booking tickets as we speak. Next, HBO cancels The Time Traveler's Wife. Are you guys as heartbroken as us? On the 1st of July, HBO announced that they're canceling The Time Traveler's Wife after just one season. Based on Audrey Niffenegger's novel, the show starred Theo James and Rose Leslie. It ran for 6 episodes. The story followed the wonderful love story of Claire and Henry with time travel. And yes, it was as magical as it sounds. HBO spokesperson stated that it was their privilege to partner with the creators of the show, and thanked them for their passion and hard work. Fans were understandably devastated when the news came out. Some even started calling for other networks like Netflix, Hulu, etc. to pick up the show. And finally, Stranger Things breaks Netflix. Stranger Things Season 4 is back, and it's officially broken Netflix. The show has been a record-breaking success for Netflix. The first part of Season 4 had most hours watched for a weekend premiere on the streaming service, and the second part only added to that. Volume 2 literally crashed Netflix. Following the premiere, users were unable to log in, and the site was inaccessible to many. Over 13,000 reported this problem on the morning of the release. According to Nielsen, all in all, the 4th season set a new Nielsen streaming record for the most viewing time for a week. According to Nielsen, Stranger Things saw a total of 7.2 billion minutes in viewing time in the week starting 30th of May. There hasn't been a single show to cross even 6 billion viewing minutes in a single week since the start of weekly ratings in 2020. And you can bet that Netflix will be very happy about this, considering the infamous subscriber drop they recently suffered. It wouldn't be a reach to say that Stranger Things is the biggest show in the world right now, and rightly so. What else even compares? And even though it left us absolutely devastated with that finale, we wouldn't want it any other way. That's a wrap for this video. How excited are you for House of the Dragon? Do you think it'll live up to that Game of Thrones hype? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.